we're opening the Christmas shop at the end of this week. I'm so excited to take you along. We did it! We are officially open. The most important product this week to finish before the launch is the coloring book. I thought I would share how it went and then also just talk a little bit about the marketing that I did for it. And I think my biggest worry with setting everything up was just that it was going to be basically empty the entire time. So it was so encouraging to see that people were so nice and people were excited. Welcome to another cozy week in the design studio, and it's a very rainy one. Even though we're at the end of November and we're opening the Christmas shop at the end of this week, it is +11 today in Sweden, which is pretty banana pants. So I am really excited to take you along this week because, as I said, it's the last week before we launch our pop-up stationery and Christmas shop in my greenhouse in my backyard. And this week we actually are in a great place, but I need to do all the little bits that make it really magical. So I need to make all the signage. I'm hand painting a sign on like a blackboard. We're making some last products and some last stock, but I've also really been trying to organize the studio because, as you can probably understand, it is kind of busy in here and I really get a bit stressed out when it's super messy. So I want to show you a few of the things I've done to keep organized because they might be interesting to you if you're also running a stationery shop or just a business or love to be organized. And I also want to show you some of the products that I'm working on. The most important product this week to finish before the launch is the coloring book. So I'm making an adult coloring book that is all of my different art prints and things, but as coloring pages. And I'm so excited that I'm actually managing to do this because it takes so much longer than you think to be creating the coloring pages. And I'm really, really excited because I only have 2 more prints to actually make, and then we can start assembling it and figuring out how to bind it. If you're new here, welcome. My name's Malin and I make handmade stationery products that I illustrate and then make here in my studio in Sweden. And I'm so excited to just take you along and show you the behind the scenes of running a small stationery business. Let me show you the new organizational setup and then I'll show you what the Christmas shop looks like right now. And then tomorrow my parents are coming over because we have their products as well, so they make Santas. Let me show you. So they make products like these, where we've got like different Santas, so like little men. Let's see if it wants to focus. With like a little package and things, and they sew all the clothes and everything. And we've got like a woman to match, to be like Mrs. Claus, I guess. And so I'm gonna show you the greenhouse and everything, and then we can finish those 2 prints. And then tomorrow they're coming over and we're gonna be setting up the actual staging. So basically trying to do a little mock setup. And then the goal is to make products this week, and then on Friday we're gonna set everything up in the afternoon, and then it's gonna be there overnight. So when we open on Saturday morning, everything is all ready and all the lights and everything. We definitely need to make sure the heating is working because although it's only gonna be like a few plus degrees this week, we are working all the way into the end of December, so might get a little bit cold if the heating doesn't work. So we're trying all of that out, making sure we're not like blowing a fuse or anything. So let's get going with this week. I'm so excited to take you along. So this is my new setup and I'm really excited about having finally done it because I don't know if you're the same, but I sometimes get a bit stuck by having like multiple steps. So I was thinking that I needed to paint these before I put them up, and that was keeping me from actually doing all the organizational part, which I eventually decided to just put them up. Now that I'm seeing them here, because the printer is black, maybe it's fine. So I'm really excited that I put it up, specifically because it gives me a lot more space to work on the table, but also because I have a 4-year-old and he really likes playing with my different tools unless they're sharp. That means they sometimes migrate into other parts of the house. And that can be a little bit tricky once you're starting to work and then you can't find any of your things. So these 2 pegboards are from IKEA. They come in white, I think, as well. And I really need to get a few more of these like organizational bits, like the different hooks and things. But I think this is just such a nice thing to start off the week before we actually launch, because it's not stressful because we got to a good place, but it can be whenever you're doing something big. So having the studio a bit more clean and organized just makes me feel so much better. So I'm really excited that we're there, and I wanted to show you because I did a few different prepping things over the weekend since we last spoke. So one of the things I'm going to be selling is Christmas cards. And because the products are made of paper and people are going to be like looking through them to see which designs they like, I want to be protecting them. Also because we're going to be semi-outside, even though it's a greenhouse, it's not like an insulated one. So I wanted to package them up the way that I've been doing it for markets. And I just put them in this like paper packaging that's all recyclable, and then I put it with an envelope. The thing is though, I have a lot more designs than I have envelopes, and I don't know which designs are going to be really popular. So I don't want to package up everyone and kind of bind up the different cards, the different envelopes. So what I did was I'm going to have my display that has like one of each card, and then I've packaged up 2 or 3 of each. And I'm just going to keep them like standing up like this in one of my bins. So this way people can like look through the different designs, and then I have a box behind the counter where I've got tons of more copies of each one. So if they want to buy like 5 of one rather than buying like 5 different cards, then they can just let me know and I can give it to them. But that way I don't have to keep all of those cards out where they could get damaged. So I think that's a really good solution. For the same reason, I've also been packing up my notepads. So I've got 2 new designs that I'm launching at this. So we got like a Christmas one that has, there you go, like nice, really red flowers. We got oranges and cinnamon and things. And then we got our bookish one that you have seen here before. Please focus. There. With the books and tea and cinnamon buns and things. So I think these are so sweet. They're also part of like a bookish box, this one, that has a reading journal and things. But I'm also really excited to just have them by themselves because that might be something people are interested in rather than a full box. So let's head out to the greenhouse and have a look at what the store looks like at the moment on Monday before the launch. I kind of hope you can hear the rain because I know it's supposed to be Christmassy and snowy, but it is very cozy to be in here when it's raining. We've put a new table at the back because we felt like we needed more space for actually putting up products. Got the little kids area. And then we have the kind of like notebooks and bookish area where we're going to have bookmarks and things. And this is the state of the decoration at the moment. I've just been putting a few things like at the shelves because it's mostly going to be products. And we're going to be putting those up on Friday. But we can do a little test tomorrow. And this is where we have the counter at the moment. So we're going to have right next to it a little station here where there's going to be like Glühwein and things, so like mulled wine. So I'm really excited to just start decorating more. I've got a lot of little fairy lights and things I'm going to be putting up today, more of the flying pages and just more of everything essentially. So we've got like the hanging snow over the kids area. So just want to add more of all the different decorations because obviously it's a fine line between it getting like a little too much, but I still want it to just feel really special, and I think it needs to have a lot more actual decor for that to happen. So I wanted to show you how I make my coloring books because I'm so excited to have these now. Essentially I have like a thicker cover for the front page, and then I've been using the 160 gram paper, which is really thick. It's like double what you have for a traditional like copying paper. So that makes it really nice for the different pages. And so I've basically been picking different designs that I have made anyway for other things like Christmas cards or my calendar. So there's 22 different ones, and I also wanted to have ones with like varying levels of complexity. So like some have a lot more detail, for example. So what I did was I wanted it to be bound really cleanly, but I still wanted it to be like easy for people to separate the pages, like if they wanted to turn the page or like, you know, flatten the spine a little. So what I've done is I've taken, so like here, for example, some individual pages. So what I do is I use my scoring board. So this is what I normally have for my cards. And then I put it so that it's completely straight against the edges. And then just for a little bit in, I just make a line like this. And that also gives me a guide for where to bind the page. So it's probably going to be a little bit hard to see, but now it has a little crease along this side. And so I do that for all of them. And then I use my awl, just like when I do bookbinding. And I just make holes so that I can do a 5-stitch one. And if you haven't seen how to do that, I actually have it as part of one of my studio vlogs, an earlier one. But I just think it turns out so beautifully, and it's bound really like securely, but it's also easy to see all the different pages. So I'm so excited. So I'm gonna make 5 of these to have for my pop-up this week. Good morning, today is Tuesday, and today is like mock-up store setup day. And I also thought I would start by essentially just trying to write like up this sign. So it's like a blackboard, and I've got this type of pen that's like a blackboard pen, but be a lot more precise. So I just wanted to say good morning before we dive into everything. I have a really stubborn cough, so I've got my tea, and I'm really hoping that it's not going to turn into like a proper cold, but I think it's just like kindergarten lingering stuff. So I'm really excited. My parents are coming over today, and we're going to stage everything. Yesterday evening, when it was a little bit dark, I went out and I had tons of these like fairy lights, and I put them in all kinds of places, and it was such a like magical thing to see it come to life. Because, for example, I have these like glass domes and things, so I put lots of plants and then also put like the fairy lights in there. So it really made it feel really like magical foresty vibes, which is exactly what I want. So I'm really excited to test everything out today. So let's get drawing on this sign. Hi, it's actually the Monday after we have opened the pop-up shop for the first time, and I'm so happy that I decided to keep filming and take you along because so many things have happened. It was so exciting. So I thought I would share how it went, and then also just talk a little bit about the marketing that I did for it. Because if you're someone who is maybe a little bit disillusioned with social media, because I can feel that way, then maybe you find some of these tips really helpful. So first, I just want to talk about what happened on the Saturday and the Sunday when we were open. And so you've probably been following along for how we've been prepping and everything. And it was so lovely. So on the Saturday, we had so many neighbors, that some of them that we know, but also tons of them that we don't know, that all came over and were super excited. They were so complimentary and lovely, talking about how it was such a beautiful greenhouse and such a lovely idea to do the shop. And so it was kind of like a little meetup for the neighborhood, which was really nice. And so we actually had 14 groups of people who came by, and it was really, really sweet. So essentially, someone was there the entire time. And I think my biggest worry with setting everything up was just that it was going to be basically empty the entire time. And so it was so encouraging to see that people were so nice and people were excited. And I think the most exciting thing for me also was it was so nice to see so many people that we knew, and also so nice to see so many people that we didn't know. Because if this is going to ultimately work for the entirety of like December, it's really good that people who don't know me directly are also really excited to come by and check it out. And so that was Saturday. And then on the Sunday, I was expecting it to be quite empty since we had so many people come on the Saturday and lots of people that know us. But actually, we still had like 6 groups of people on the Sunday. So there were a few times when it was a little bit less busy, when we were able to like just check through everything, check the stock, look at price tags and things like that. But that was actually kind of nice. So I was super happy about how both the days went. And so now we essentially need to continue to do a little bit of marketing, and then we're going to be open 3 more weekends. So it was so exciting to see this, and I was basically doing this pop-up instead of doing traditional markets. And the reason we decided to do that is because traditional markets are great because you have a lot of people who come there specifically to buy. But I sell paper products, and being outside when it's windy and it's cold, it could be raining, you have all these products that could be blowing away or get rained on and get damaged. It's also really cold to stand there a lot of the times because it's outside, it can be really busy. So my biggest worry that was that no one was going to come, but that didn't happen. It was a huge success. So I'm really excited about that. And I really just also want to make sure that I'm taking time to celebrate, because I'm a person who can easily be like, okay, let's move on. What's next? But I need to stay just like in this moment and be excited. So I thought I would mention a few of the ways that I did some marketing, because of course I continued to do things I normally do, like post to Instagram, and I had like my website updated and everything, but I also did a couple things that I don't normally do. So the first one was I did a lot of marketing on Facebook. I'm not normally much on Facebook because it's not really where my traditional Etsy customers are. But for this, I knew that a lot of people who know me from like childhood or just are in the area are on Facebook. So I did set up a Facebook page and I've been posting like reels and things to there. But I also did something which I think you can look into as well. There are local Facebook groups, basically when people are setting up a Facebook group for the area. So like in the one that I was in, it's like around 6,000 people and everyone lives in the same neighborhood. And so that means that when you're posting to those groups, people who are exactly the type of people that you want coming to your store, who live really close by, are going to see it. So that was really good. So I found 2 groups like that I was posting in, and I'll probably post like once or twice more during the month, just to kind of like remind people or share like an offer or something. Another thing that I did was I did a traditional flyer that I put in people's mailboxes. So let me show you. So it just looked like this. I printed it myself on like double-sided. So on the one side you have like the kind of general information, like the times and everything, and on the other side you have like some of the products and just a bit about me. And this was such a good thing because a lot of people actually said that they came because they had the flyer in the mailbox. So what I'm going to do now until next weekend is I'm going to be putting some more of these flyers in mailboxes for people that I haven't given it to yet. So I started really close to my home, and then now I'm going to go a little bit further away but still in the same neighborhood. So I'm hoping that I can get a few more people excited to come for the upcoming weekends. So this week I'm going to need to restock some of the things we almost sold out of. And I'm also going to be designing a new Christmas card that is a little bit different. It's going to be like a cutout type of thing. I'm excited to show you. And of course, I also need to have a think about what to do for 2025 for like my different launches and planning everything out. So if you want to see that, then make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you can see my next studio vlog. So I'm so excited you came along this week. Thank you so much for all your lovely words. And I'm so excited to continue to share with you here. So thank you so much for coming along. Have a really lovely week. I'll see you next time. Bye.